just to elaborate from my colleague, Senator Dietzig, who talked about the hearings that your party is going to engage in, I would just like to make sure that members know that just today the U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland talked more about Minnesota and started an investigation. It's going to continue an investigative probe, a civil probe, to examine whether police have engaged in excessive force, discriminatory conduct, or abuse those with mental or physical disabilities, and try to get at the pattern or the broader practice of pattern investigation into the department aims to root out more systemic problems within local police agencies and efforts that have been used by the DOJ, not just under the Obama administration, but also by George W. Bush administration, to pursue settlements with departments to have found engaged in repeated and abusive tactics. So members and Senator Gazelka, can you elaborate what type of hearings are we going to be discussing these issues? I know that at one point you had announced in a press conference that it was going to be a fact-finding hearing. Now that we have this announcement by the federal government looking at Minnesota again, can we be assured that you are, and your body and your leadership is going to take into account those areas that the probe is going to be focused on in the legislation that we are expected, hopefully, to hear in these hearings that you're talking about a week from Friday?
Senator Gazelka.
Mr. President, Senator Franzen, you may recall that last June 23rd, it was our leadership, Senate Republicans, that made that request to the federal government. And so that's part of, I think, the plan to be take an objective look at what's going on. You may also remember that in July we passed the most comprehensive police accountability bill that I can remember. Somebody's going to have to show me when any other legislative body in Minnesota has passed the breadth of the police accountability bill that we did. And so we in the hearings, we certainly want to make sure we understand a baseline of where are we, what does Minnesota do. The fact that the federal government is going to do what they're going to do means that we'll continue to look at this not just during the session, but with what other things that they come up with as well. And so I still am not saying we will definitely do more police accountability this next 4 weeks. There may be something. I'm not saying we will not. I just know that we have to pass the budget bills. As we watched the verdict yesterday, I don't think anybody can say that justice wasn't served. And so we have a process that works, and then we have things that we have to be willing to look at as we move forward. And so we started that last year. We said we were going to do major police accountability. We did major police accountability, and now we're saying we're going to do hearings. I'm willing to listen, and we'll see where it ends in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Senator Franzen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Gazelka. Just to clarify, the Trump administration actually opened the federal civil rights investigation days after Mr. Floyd passed away or was killed by police. That's different than what's happening today. So just want to clarify, there are two different agencies in the federal government. There are different tracks, and this is a new announcement just of late of today, this morning. So, Mr. President, Senator Gazelka, I just want to make sure that you take the newest information coming from our Justice Department at the federal level, and that those concerns are also addressed by this body and this legislature, this legislative session. It's our duty to not wait till the next session, but to take those measures and information, and not just fact-finding, but legislation that could contribute to continuing to have the spotlight on the state of Minnesota and have some purpose of what we've all gone through in the last year. So, Mr. President and Senator Gazelka, I really encourage that you take a look at the information that came out just today and bring that information to those hearings. Thank you.
Senator Gazelka.
Thank you, Mr. President, and to all members. The Senate is a deliberate body, and we have done great work as you look back to just last July. And the side we have to be careful with is if you push too fast on something without doing our duty to make sure that we're looking deeply into it, sometimes you do things that then other people will say are unconstitutional, and so that is a result of our deadly force and how we changed that. Now we're trying to figure out if we did it exactly right. And so we want to make sure that everything we do is done, we get it right the first time. And part of that is taking the process to listen, to do hearings, and not necessarily be confined to the next 3-week period. And so we'll see. I mean, that's why I've expressed openness, that we're willing to listen, but not promising that we will do something in the next 3 weeks, but we'll have to wait and see.